We're going in with RB30.
Oh, yes. Fuck, Jesus Christ, he's good. Just spot on.
Booyah! This thing's cool as hell. Very simple interior, I like it a lot. Go get my diff. Welcome back to Hooked on Rust. As I said, we'd be back again this week, so here we are. If you're new or haven't seen this thing before, this is my Datsun 1200 Ute, or Backy, or Sunny, depending where you are in the world. She's in the build, airbagged, rotary swapped, suicide doors, custom chassis, and today we're working on putting a Hilux Diff in this thing. So let's dig in and talk about the diff. So I originally bought an R31 diff, which is a pretty common swap for these things, but you're pretty limited on ratios, which wasn't really going to work with the 13B Bridgeport that we got going in here. She's just NA, no turbo, so we really wanted to put a short ratio diff in this thing to liven her up and make her a bit of fun to drive. Someone actually reached out, Tim. Yeah, he told me to do a 488 minimum, so that's what we ended up doing. We swapped over, we bought a four-wheel drive Hilux diff. We've had the LSD center rebuilt, solid pinion spacer put into that. New axle blanks, which have been re-drilled to suit the R31 axle ends on the housing, and we're running an R31 disc brake and caliper. Pretty terrible calipers in terms of braking and the handbrake, so if you have any fixes on that handbrake, let me know. But the reason why we ran that brake is because you can fit small wheels quite easily. Like you're not going to foul on a 14-inch wheel. You can pretty much run any kind of wheel you want on there. So now she's good to go. I'm going to send you back in time a bit, where we had the housing back and we had to figure out what we were doing with our forelink. A bit has changed since then. We still have to do top arms, etc. But when that clip is done, I will be back. I got these old jack stands here that I'm going to kind of just weld together so that they don't bloody wobble about like they do at the moment. Once we get this diff in a somewhat good position, pinion angle, left to right, up, down, this, that, whatever, I'm actually going to tack the housing to the jack stands. Then we can start playing with the forelink arms. We're going triangulated forelink. I'm thinking about going inside the chassis rails. Top arms will go center outwards. Anyway, I'm going to try to get this thing squared away a bit. And
Hey guys, Chris Fix here.
Alright, so I got the diff pretty well squared away, I think. Now I just need to try and not bump it. It is welded to the jack stands, and the jack stands are welded so they hopefully don't move too much. This is my frame lower arm mount. I've cut one of the wings off. I'm just going to make it work as it is. I'm going to make this pickup point as low as possible, because this pretty much sits on the ground, the bottom of this RHS. So I'm going to have this as low as possible. Weld this in here, have it as far that way as possible, and that should get us going in the right direction for our first step. Get both of them put on, and then we can focus on trying to get that arm to the diff. Here's our first issue. I'm going to cut a good 6 inches off this. Hopefully they fit now. First attempt of letting the diff down. It is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I have been at this for hours. The top arms are only tacked in, so hopefully it doesn't fall apart. Oh my god, I have no idea what I'm doing. Get stuck going down. Alright, so as you could probably see, I struggled with that a little bit. We had to shorten all the arms. Our brackets didn't really work. We pretty much had to redo a lot of it, and we still have to again. But the main thing is we got our bottom arms in position, and we've got them grafted on the diff, welded in there solid. I now have the diff all assembled, and it's sitting in the back, and those bottom arms are working good. We're good center to center. Axles are the same width apart. We're sitting in the middle of the car. Now we need to do the triangulated 4-link top arms again. We've had some new bits of plate cut out for the top arms, literally like double the thickness. And we need to graft these things, drill them out, and get these holding our arms in position. Now we need to work on mounting these things to the top of the diff, as well as these brackets on the chassis are kind of very temporary, and we need to do something about that. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do yet. Well, the diff's in. The 4-link I think is all done. It's all welded up. Hopefully we don't need to make any changes, because if we do, that'll probably have to happen in the future. And I'm about to jack it up for the first time. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the pinion angle on the diff and see how much it changes. And if it's varying a lot, we'll have to look at the length of the arms and how we can adjust them. But at the minute, it's kind of looking pretty good. The angle of the lower arms to the top arms should put my cross center, whatever you call it, towards the front. Probably not at the engine, but at the firewall. We'll measure that a bit more once we jack everything back up to ride height. I did play around with moving it a little bit, and I found it's really important to have everything on the same horizontal plane. You may think your car's at 0 degrees or whatever, because I was setting the arms to 0 and then it was a bit off. So what I've done is I've measured how everything's sitting horizontally. I've made them all the same, and now the arms seem to move freely of each other, no binding, etc. But that was when it was only tacked in. So we've welded it in. Let's jack it up, see what happens. Let's also check our pinion angle and hope for the best. I've just realized I can push this button and it stops and starts the video on my phone. How good. Let's just jack it up and see how it moves. I tightened everything up as well. I might have tightened it too much, but we'll see. Where's that? That's probably higher than that. Measure that. 100 mil. So yeah, that's probably about ride height. And that is lip to fender. Yeah. It's not going to go any higher than that, mate. No way. Right. Keep an eye on this for me. It's rotating. 3-degree change. Is that bad? How bad is that? Like, as long as it's at the right pinion angle at ride height, does it really matter? Might leave that to the YouTube trust to tell me. So, 3 degrees up is pretty good, because I'm going to mount the rotary 3 degrees down. So then basically they'll be on a parallel line, which I believe is what you want, so you don't get any vibration. 3 degrees is like the max you want to go, so I've heard. We're slightly over at 3.15, but I think a little bit of adjustment in the arms and you'll be fine. Alright, so my next job involves the struts. This is a bit of a dilemma, because if I was to mount them on these mounts where I was planning to mount them, this is how high they're going to stick up. But I wanted my floor to be this level. There's not much I can do easily. You know, we could go kind of crazy, do like a cantilever sort of setup, mount them like that, or mount them forwards. Nope. I don't love it. I don't love it at all, actually. No. Or I buy a different suspension, which costs money. Ugh. I do not love the look of these bloody coilovers sticking out that high. The backwards thing looks cool. Cooler. But my fuel tank's supposed to go here, where I'm sitting. Ugh. It's fuel tank location. Have a look. Tell me what you think. God, it looks dumb from here. I think I'm honestly going to have to just run it like this for the show. I got like 8 days. There's no way I can cut, design, execute, and make a cantilever system or whatever look good. And I don't have money to spend to just go willy-nilly and buy something. If I could somehow get the same amount of travel and get rid of this, what is that? 140 mil. If I could get rid of that, I think I'd be happy. Because that would take this down 140. Which would be perfect, dude. The tops would be in line with the top of this. I'm going to go do some research. So, I went inside and had dinner. And I got to thinking about what to do about this situation. And I thought, the fronts are shorter. I measured it. It's 150 mil shorter. So I'm thinking I can get some front shocks, cartridges. Surely they're not too expensive. And then just put the rear bag system and the rear bottom mount onto this shorter collar. We should be in action. Still not the prettiest or most intricate setup, but I think it's something we can get away with. And yeah, crisis averted. Now, I really wanted to get this bag off and actually put a rear together and put it on the car so I could have a look. But, dude, I cannot get that bag off there, eh? I'm pretty sure they're meant to spin off, but that thing is jammed on. Even the rear one that I did take off was jammed on. I broke the fitting getting it off. So I'm going to have to order one of them as well. Snapped the line right off there. What a bastard. These are a weird setup, by the way. There's like O-rings inside there that seal on, and that's it. I suppose I could just put the bottom mount on and put this bag in. Alright, let's do that. Alright, so let's spin this down a bit. Be representative of where this other bag will fit on the shock casing. We can put this bottom Johnny on. Up to that point, I guess. Why not? Also, I'm well aware I got this bottom mount on the wrong way. The bolt. Oh. Nip him up a bit. It's not quite below this level where I wanted it, but it's pretty close. I think it still looks a lot better than that tall dicky thing on the right. Yeah. I could go down one hole on here. It's only going to give me, what, 10, 15, no, maybe 20 mil? Oh, fuck, that's really close. The thing is, I don't want to make it sit under that level and then you can't get down flat on the ground. If the thing doesn't lay on the ground, all this is a big waste of time. That was the whole purpose of this car. Get the thing laying on the ground. Seal to pavement. I could probably piss off this top altogether. Couldn't I? Why not? Like a Commodore or something. They just bolt in with the single shock. The single bolt. Why not? I don't know. If I piss this off, then it's under. It's close, but it's under. And I could make my own little... I'd have to make my own little sort of bushing. Like, I don't mind if the adjuster bolts through the floor. And you can adjust it, whatever. And then you can put it on the piss even more. So the thing about angling the bag, or the coilover, or whatever setup you've got, the more you angle it, it acts like reducing the spring rate, I believe, because each movement is not as much compression on the spring or the bag. Does that make sense? The bag compresses less for the same amount of movement in the axle. Whereas it's straight up and down, it moves that full amount. I don't know, Google it. Makes sense in my head. So yeah, I could get a bit of angle on them, which is cool. I like that. I do like that a lot. I think that's what we're doing, dude. Dudes and dudettes. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Alright. Now I need to find someone that can send me these shocks. ASAP. I need them tomorrow. No. A couple days would be good, but... that's what we're doing. I'm going to figure out something... maybe talk to my friend Consev, who knows how to machine stuff. Maybe he can make me a sort of mount. Then I'm going to have to figure out how to strengthen some steel. Bada bing, bada boom. Partner now has me doing bloody timber projects.